Hello there, it's Pastor Greg Drummond again of Bayers Road Baptist Church, and thanks for joining us for a midweek meditation. Today is the end of a significant year for me. It's the last day that I get to be 40, and if you are a person who reads the Bible, or even sporadically, you might have come across how often the number 40 appears. Now, one of the pastors, teachers that I followed a lot in my training and continue to read his books, even though he's passed away, is Eugene Peterson. And in one of his books, he talks about, it's called Under the Unpredictable Plant. And it's the story of a life of a pastor looked at through the lens of Jonah. Now, Jonah was a prophet sent to the people of Nineveh, telling them that they had 40 days to turn back to God or face the destruction of the city. And this term that Peterson gives for a life that is faithfully waiting for God to do something or see something happen, he calls eschatological patience, which sounds like a mouthful, but eschatological, it means that it's looking towards an end, and the patience is to see that happen. But in this patience, it's something that God is going to do, something that God is going to do significantly, and it can't be shortchanged before it reaches its intended end. And as he delves into this in his book, I'm drawn into it at the end of my 40 years here, moving into my 41st. And he says this image of 40 shows up time and time again as this stock biblical word for hope. It's a period of testing one's life. He says 40 days is this period for examining for truth, for authenticity, for what God is doing. It works through us with this patience that pushes us to the end, this eschatological patience. And the last day, the 40th day, shapes the content of the preceding 39 days or 39 years. And if the 40 has done its proper work, life will begin in a new way. But if 40 is ignored, then everything that has been built up will be destroyed. In Noah's day, 40 plunged the earth into evil with Noah and the ark. In the Exodus, 40 years was when the children of Israel wandered around the desert. 40 nights on the mountain, Moses stayed in the presence of God, receiving the 10 Commandments. For Elijah, the prophet, 40 days was a time that he was able to clarify his vision and his vocation. For Jesus, 40 days was a time of testing and temptation in the lonely wilderness to see and become the person that his Father needed him to be as he spent time here on earth. And even during his resurrection, after his death and resurrection, 40 days was the time he visited with his apostles and commissioned them to form the church. And as we wait for God to work in our lives, one of the important things with the 40, with this time period, is that we can't shortchange what God is doing. Sometimes we will ask people, I'm going through this time, help me out of it. God, take me out of it. God, bring me out of it. You ask friends to show me what is God's will, what does he want, what is he doing? And some of us will want to have people meddle in that process, or we'll want to help someone else along who's stunted along the way. But we can't do that. Or we might risk changing the work that the Spirit has set apart to do in this person. So as I head to the final hours of my time of being 40, I am pausing and reflecting on what God has been doing, not just this past year, but these past number of years in my life, and thanking him for where he's brought me, with the family that I have, with the church that I'm in, with the person I'm continuing to become, and I look forward to where he will bring me beyond then. So if you were going through a time of testing, of trial, of adventure, of questioning, of wondering, it could be that you're in a 40 period and you need the patience to make it through. And so we ask God to give you that patience, to give you that strength, and to bring you through changed and transformed into something new that God's Spirit is going to thrust you into a new adventure that the Lord has planned for you. God bless you, and thanks for joining me today.